All right, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. Well, I gotta give a shout out to my buddy on Facebook, frequent, frequent podcast listener and avid boxing gambler, Ryan Hong. Got to give him a shout out because he inspired this video, and I'm gonna explain why. Text me the other day, and he said, "I'm picking Conceicao over Valdez." Right? And I was saying to myself, really? That's kind of a brave pick, right? And I respect Ryan Hong greatly. So it made me take a second look at this fight, right? Made me take a second look at this fight. And I said to myself, what does he see that most everyone else does not see, right? So I went back and I watched the Correa Conceicao fight, right? And I looked at it real closely and I analyzed it, right? And I was looking, for things that could be some evidence and some little things that people probably don't see, right? From Conceicao, right? So I watched and I looked at that fight closely. And I saw some good things and I saw some bad things. But one good thing that I did like is the versatility, right? From Conceicao, right? I like the versatility. I saw that this is a tall, long guy who could fight from the outside, but also could hold his own on the inside. This guy reminded me a lot of your Dennis Ugas, right? Guy that's kind of patient, fights out of a high guard, keeps the elbows tight, has a great, quick, straight jab from the outside, right? Tall, long, right? Definitely big for this weight class, right? And, I like the way that he made every punch count, didn't waste much. But the one difference I saw between him and your Dennis Ugas was once he does get on the inside and starts throwing punches, throws a lot more punches than your Dennis Ugas, right? So he has a lot more volume than your Dennis Ugas, but they have a similar style, right? They kind of patient, methodical, fight out of a high guard, use the jab a lot, and they allow their opponent to get off, and they like to catch the shots, and then they punch in between their opponent's combinations, or they wait for their opponent to finish, and as soon as they finish, they time when their opponent is going to finish their combination. They kind of get a sense for it, ba 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 ba, and as soon as their opponent stops, that's when they start and step in with their offense. So it's a similar style in terms of the way they both, work off the jab from the outside, touch, 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 create openings, right? Get their opponent to throw, to come at them a little bit. They bait their opponent into coming forward and attacking them, and they kind of catch the shots. And then they either punch in between their opponent's combination, when they see that opening, or they wait for their opponent to stop and go back and reset, and that's when they jump in, right? So they have that same approach to the fight. But one thing I did like about um, Consejo is that or Concayo. That's how you pronounce it. I have a hard time pronouncing his name. It's Concayo. Sometimes I call him Concayo. Sometimes I call him Concayo. So I apologize for earlier. I have a hard time with this name for whatever reason. So it's Concayo. And so I liked the versatility, right? And Correa knocked him down in the second round, but I like how he got up and he still maintained his poise. Didn't get nervous, crazy, or wild. He just went back to the drawing board, and he mixed, he mixed it up a little bit, right? He gave Correa, different looks, right? Gave him different looks. I liked that. I liked how he was, boxing from the outside, and I liked how he took it took it up close and was really ripping those body shots. Actually, got 2 points taken away, which I thought were kind of bad points. They were borderline shots, but he still went to the body, and he still, you know, was coming forward, and he was still throwing punches. He was still trying to set up his offense, and he was still able to create openings against Correa. And he was outboxing him, I felt. And I thought the big difference is because Correa was a guy that wanted to go inside, but couldn't really fight outside that well. And you got a guy in Conceicao who's almost 5'11. He's like 5'10 and a half. He's got a 70-inch reach, right? He's a tall, long guy, but when he gets in there, he really knows how to shorten those shots up. And I love the fact that he finishes every combination going to the body, right? Love how he goes to the body. Not a huge puncher, but a sharp puncher, an accurate puncher. A guy who, like I said, doesn't waste many punches, doesn't load up, doesn't wing, doesn't lunge in. He's a patient, poised guy, but once he does get in that pocket, he could flow in there. Those combinations just flow, right? He knows how to thread the needle. He knows how to shorten those shots up, place them perfectly on the inside. And again, that jab is a great jab from the outside. So he just keeps his opponent off balance and off guard with, from the outside. He keeps tapping you, trying to goad you into coming forward, trying to bait you into coming forward. And then as soon as you start throwing, he waits for that opening in between that combination, or when you're finished and you're getting ready to reset, and that's when he springs on you. So he's got that element of surprise to his offense, right? And he's got great timing. He's got good versatility. So I like those things about him. The only Brazilian Olympic gold medalist as well. Had a victory over Lomachenko in the amateurs, but it was overturned because they said that the scores were added up incorrectly. But originally, he was announced the winner in the amateurs. Same thing with Valdez. He beat Valdez in the amateurs. Now I know, Beeb, you being a hypocrite, you always say that amateurs and pros, it doesn't matter. Mike Tyson lost to Henry Tillman in the amateurs twice, and he knocked him out one round in the pros. Yeah, I understand that. I get it. But sometimes, and I'm going to kind of tie it in together in this fight, sometimes that has a psychological edge, right? Going into a fight when you're already dealing with a fighter whose confidence and mental state is probably already shaken. Any little thing like that can throw a fighter off, and it could add to the fighter's distress. Obviously Valdez is going through something right now. Everyone's calling him a cheater. He's not feeling really good about himself. Right? He's reading the headlines. He's listening to guys like Tim Bradley and Andre Ward saying that he's a cheater. Tim Bradley's saying he hopes he gets knocked out, right? So he's definitely the bad guy here. He could say what he wants about how that phentermine got in his body, but it's highly unlikely that he unknowingly took that substance. It's hard to believe that he unknowingly took that substance. It just is. And Mark Kriegel asked him a question, and the way he answered this question was very, very telling. He said, Oscar, regardless of how that drug got in your system, if you were Conceicao, right? If you were Conceicao, would you go through with this fight? How would you feel about this fight? Right? And he said, well, if I was Conceicao, I'd definitely go through with this fight because I would say to myself that, my opponent is taking this drug so close to the fight, right? taking this drug so close to the fight, that's telling me that he's having problems making weight. He's struggling in camp, right? So of course I would take this fight because I would feel that I would have the advantage because my opponent is having a hard time making weight. So he basically told on himself. Really? Why would you say that? So I believe, we could debate back and forth about whether or not phentermine is a performance enhancer. Is it a stimulant? Yes. But again, I'm going to talk about this further in the video about my opinion on the whole situation with the stimulant thing, right? Because one thing that I've taken over my years, an abundance of, right, is stimulants. I've taken ephedra, I've taken yerba mate, I've taken citrus aurantium, yohimbine, you name it, I've taken it, right? Taken it. Taken clenbuterol once, never have taken phentermine, but again, all these stimulants work in a very similar way. They increase dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin in the brain, right? They all do that. And they do that unnaturally. So what you're really giving your body is artificial energy, right? And we're going to get into that later. But as I said, I believe that Oscar Valdez had a horrible camp. A horrible camp. I believe that this will not be the best version of Oscar Valdez come Saturday. I really don't. And I think Conceicao, right, is probably really confident because he's saying to himself, this guy had to take this drug to make weight so close to the fight. And I believe what Oscar Valdez said. I think that's a valid point. If I was the opponent, I wouldn't be upset. I'd be like, wow, this guy had to take this drug, which is prescribed to obese people, right? He's desperate. This was a last ditch effort for him to make weight for this fight, right? He had to pull out all the stops that he's going to go as far as taking a drug that's prescribed to obese people just so he can make weight. And he's taking it so close to the fight, right? Less than 2 weeks away, he got popped for this fight. Popped for this drug, right? So all the way up to the end of this camp, this man is struggling, right? To make weight. That's going to give me confidence, right? Now everyone knows that he tested positive for this drug, right? Everyone's calling him a cheater. Everyone wants him to lose this fight. People are saying that he should be stripped. People are saying that he shouldn't even be allowed to fight. All this negative energy is going to weigh on him. There's no doubt about it. Add that to the stress of trying to make weight, right? Already struggling to make weight. That's added stress. This is more added stress. So he's got so much working against him going into this fight on Saturday, right? I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to overcome all of that. Now you say, Beeb, well, this gave him an edge, helped him train better, right? Gave him stamina, right? Obviously, I believe it helped him lose weight. Is it a stimulant? Yes. But so is caffeine, so are other stimulants. And we all know that when you take those drugs, what happens? Eventually you crash, right? And if you take an abundance of those drugs, if you take too much of those drugs, what happens? You get negative results, right? So again, we can go back and forth whether or not this is a performance enhancer, whether this is an effective stimulant to make you perform better. But here's the thing, guys. Let me explain something to you. It's like anything else when it comes to drugs, right? Especially stimulants. So most stimulants are in and out of your body very quickly. Okay, caffeine stays in your system roughly 12 hours, right? This stimulant, phentermine, stays in your system roughly 36 to 40 hours, right? About a day and a half, right? Caffeine stays in your system a half day, right? They essentially both do the same thing, right? They're very similar. They affect the same receptors in the brain, right? But here's the thing. So you take the phentermine, it's in and out of your system, right? You're giving your body that artificial energy boost. The dopamine's rising, right? The norepinephrine's rising, right? The serotonin's rising, right? The adrenaline's flowing, right? So what happens, right? After it's out of your system, what happens? You crash, right? You crash. And what do you need to do to get that back again? You got to take more of the drug, right? You got to take it again. And after a while, when you're taking these drugs, what always happens, right? You're burning through the dopamine. You're burning through the norepinephrine, and you're burning through the serotonin. You're burning through all those hormones, or all those neurotransmitters, I should say. You're burning through them, and you're depleting them so fast because you're forcing your body to burn through them so quickly. So it's like driving a car. If you drive a car for a long time, but you're driving at a high speed, you're going to run out of gas fast. Whereas if you were to drive a car for a long time and drive it at a slow, moderate pace, right? That's why they tell you when you train, if you're going to train long, don't train hard, right? So if you train hard, don't train long. And if you train long, don't train hard. Why is that? That's why they have what's called HIIT training, where you train very hard for a short period of time, as opposed to training long and you do a moderate to slower pace, right? Because if you force your body to speed up too fast, right, what happens is you overstimulate these neurotransmitters and you burn through the energy too fast. And what happens? That energy is gone. And another thing that happens with these stimulants is if you keep taking them, you do become dependent on them, just like anything else. When you drink that cup of coffee in the morning, you stop drinking that cup of coffee, you get withdrawal symptoms. You get tired. You're tired without your coffee. So if Valdez has been taking this drug in camp, right, then automatically he just stops taking this drug, right? Then his body's going to be like, where's that boost? What's going on? Because your body is a very, very, very interesting thing when you think about it, right? It's like anything else. When you take anabolic steroids, which are synthetic derivatives of testosterone, right? What does your body do? It stops making testosterone. Why? Because you're telling it doesn't have to, because I'm going to give you the testosterone. I'm going to give you the exogenous derivatives of testosterone. So guess what? You don't have to produce it anymore. Right? It's the same thing with dopamine, epinephrine, and serotonin. What happens is if you're artificially stimulating yourself with these drugs, right? With these stimulants, then your body is it's just going to say, well, I don't have to produce and I don't have to fire these neurotransmitters because he's giving me an artificial source of it. So I'm just going to wait for that artificial source of these neurotransmitters and stimulation of these hormones in my body. I'm not going to fire these because I know he's going to give me an exogenous drug that's going to allow me to achieve what I want to do artificially. So if he's going to give me this pill that's going to fire all these neurotransmitters off, right? Then I'm not going to have to fire them off naturally, right? That's why people crash. Two reasons why people crash on these stimulants: because you overstimulate, right? And you burn these neurotransmitters out. You overexhaust these adrenal glands. And another reason too is your body becomes dependent on them, and it's not going to fire these neurotransmitters or these hormones itself. All right. So that's why, people say, well, why is this stuff allowed out of competition and not in competition? Well, because again, the benefits of these stimulants are short-lived because they're so quickly in and out of the system, right? You can only reap the benefits of them for a short period of time. And then you say, well, people, it's helping these guys get in condition, and they're gonna stay in condition, right? Because they're already getting in condition. It's already giving them stamina. But once again, it's an artificial energy. And what happens when the body is getting something artificially? It stops producing it naturally because it's expecting the artificial source. So then when you take that artificial source away, it's saying to itself, where is this? I'm waiting for it. There's no need for me to start producing it on my own. It's like when people are on steroids and they stop taking steroids, they lose their gains rather quickly, right? It's the same thing with this. So if you're dependent on these stimulants to get you through training, and then all of a sudden these stimulants are taken away from you, you are gonna crash, and and you've developed a dependency on these stimulants, right? And then they're when you're overstimulated, what happens is you don't want to eat, right? So you're not putting the proper nutrients in your body to help you replenish yourself. You can't sleep at night, so you're not able to recover. So once again, you can say what you want. I've taken these stimulants, and I've taken a lot of stimulants over the years, and I've learned how to play around with them a little bit. But you know, the thing is this. You got to be careful with them because they can have a lot of negative consequences, and it's not something that you want to have if you're going into a great competition. You don't want to be taking a ton of these stimulants just to get you through a camp, and then you develop a dependency on them, and then all of a sudden once the fight comes you can't take them. It's great to take them before an event that you know is only going to last, right, 42 minutes or 45 minutes, right? But after that, what happens? These guys are training 2 or 3 times a day, right? They're training 5 or 6 days a week. They're, like I said, they're cutting calories, right? And they're training at a high intensity. And then you take this drug that's giving you, suppressing your appetite, not making you not want to eat, right? Making you not want to eat. So then again, you're not replenishing your body with the nutrients it needs. It's affecting your sleep, whatever. And at some point, your body's just going to crash, right? Just going to crash. So again, that's why I think WADA says we allow this out of competition, right? Because the benefits of this drug are short-lived. It's in and out of your system so quickly. And then you can argue all you want, well, you're still getting the benefits in training and it's getting you in better shape. But then again, what's going to happen when the last week of the fight, you can't take it, right? And your body is expecting it and it's developed a dependency to it. What's going to happen then, right? Then you become sluggish and tired because you gave your body that artificial source of energy that it was so used to getting. And as I said, once you give your body something artificially, like if someone goes on TRT, they're going to have to stay on TRT the rest of their life. Because what happens? What happens? Your body is getting the exogenous form of testosterone, and it says to itself, I don't have to make it naturally anymore. It's the same thing with energy. That's why people that have been on this drug that I've talked to, that's why when I've abused stimulants in the past, right? When I've done some stupid things in my life, I realized that, you know what? I caused more problems than I anticipated. Instead of helping myself, I ended up hurting myself, right? You can look good on the scale for that one day, make that weight. But again, you kicked the shit out of your nervous system, your adrenal system, right? And at some point, the body's just going to say, what the fuck? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's a lot of negative side effects with this drug. And I think that this was a quick fix that he thought would help him. And I suspect that at the end of the day, he's going to come out flat on Saturday night as a result of it. So he's the shorter guy, Oscar Valdez, right? He's going to be going in there with the bigger Conceicao, right? We got 5'5" going up against almost 5'11", right? Got a 66-inch reach going up against a 70-inch reach, right? Definitely Valdez is the heavier hitter here. No question about it. Valdez is a very aggressive guy. He's a very good inside fighter offensively, but defensively he tends to square up on the inside, right? Tends to keep his head and his body center line, right? When he's in the pocket. He can be countered easily when he's in the pocket. But the thing is he's just such a heavy hitter that when people exchange with him, his shots have more effect than theirs do on him. So he can go punch for punch on the inside with guys, and history has shown us that he'll come out unscathed because he's a durable guy, right? And he's a really heavy hitter on the inside, and he loves to rip to the body, and he's got a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful left uppercut, left hook on the inside. And he knows how to get he knows how to work his way inside because he does have a really stiff, hard jab. Does kind of make himself a compact target, but then when he gets inside, sometimes that's when he starts winging those wide shots. That's when he squares up a little bit, and that's when he just plants himself there and doesn't make himself a compact target, doesn't try to slip off to the side and rip those shots around the guard. He stands straight in the middle and just rips the shots from the center line. Okay? And because of that, he can be hit, right? And as I said, Conceicao is a very capable inside fighter. He's very good at holding on the inside. He's very strong on the inside. He'll grab you with one arm and hit you with the other. This guy is a very crafty guy. He's not only crafty, but he's very rugged. He's very cagey, right? Not the hardest hitter in the world, not the biggest puncher in the world, but he's a very proficient fighter, right? He's not a guy who lunges in, loads up. He's a very methodical, patient guy. But once he has that opening, right, he will put the shots together. He will not hesitate. He will not be economical. He's very similar, like I said, to Ugas, with the exception of he's not as economical, right? So this could be a very difficult fight for Valdez, who I think mentally is not going to be right for this fight. I don't think this was one of his best camps. Never been a defensive specialist. Obviously a good fighter, but his offense has always been his defense, right? So in a situation like this, where I believe he didn't have a great camp, where I believe it was a more of a weight camp, right? In a situation like this, all the stars could be lining up for something unexpected to happen here, right? All the stars could be lining up for something unexpected to happen here. I do not, but I can't say that I'm 100% correct on that. So like I said, all the stars could be lining up right now for something unexpected to happen. You got a guy in Valdez who I believe, like I said, had a bad camp, struggled to make weight. He may go into this fight desperate. He may not want this fight to go long, right? He may try to start fast and maybe get off to a really fast pace. Two things could happen with that. He could blow his wad. He could get tired later in the fight. Or he could be reckless and make mistakes, right? Because he's loading up. Maybe he'll start just throwing one shot at a time. And when you throw one shot at a time, what happens? You get tired because you're loading up with every shot. And then you stop trying to throw combinations. He may go into this fight desperate because I believe he had problems making weight. And I believe, he may make weight, but it's going to be a struggle all the way up into the end. If he's taking this drug so late in the camp, this is a last-ditch effort. Like I said, he's struggling to make this weight, right? Then you got a guy like Conceicao who's confident. He's like, well, this guy had to take this drug just to make weight. This guy isn't in the best shape. I already beat this guy in the amateurs. He knows I beat him in the amateurs. Psychologically, he's already shaken. That may be weighing on his mind. A lot of intangibles going into this fight, guys. I know, Beeb, what do you know? This is being a conspiracy theorist. You're grasping at straws here. You're looking for anything. But again, these things all play a factor in a fight. Okay? These things all play a factor in the fight. Oh, well, he's the A side. Well, again, people aren't really happy with him. You got Ward, guys like Ward and Bradley who aren't really happy with him. And you got Bradley saying he wants him to get knocked out, right? He may not receive A-side privileges in this fight because he's wearing the black hat in this fight. He's the bad guy. He's the heel. No one believes him. I don't believe him. I don't believe him for a second that this got in his system unknowingly. I don't believe it for a second. For a second, I don't believe him. I know he took this drug because he had a hard time making weight. I do believe him that he did not take this drug for a performance enhancer, though. But that's irrelevant. He still gamed the system to try to make weight artificially when his opponent had to make weight naturally. All right, so I don't want to hear people be giving him a pass. I'm just telling you from my own personal experience with stimulants, I know if you abuse them, and I know if you take them for the wrong reasons, right? And I know if you take them under certain circumstances, like hard training, right? Like when you're calorie depleting, right? Like when you're putting stress on your body and you're taking these stimulants that are going to stimulate your body even more. Like I'll continue to say this, it is not the proper environment. When I was younger, I used to pound stimulants like fucking crazy. I took ephedra when it was legal. I used to take ephedra. This is what I used to take. I used to take like fucking 20 milligrams of ephedra, right? I used to stack it with 400 milligrams of caffeine, right? And then I used to fucking take it with an aspirin, right? And I could train for a long time, right? But guess what? After about 3 weeks, what happened to me? When I withered down to 100, when I started at 205 pounds and I withered down to 178 pounds because I wasn't eating, guess what happened? I started feeling like shit. Couldn't push any weight, right? Couldn't sleep, couldn't fuck, couldn't do anything. All right. So I know it's one thing. What I do now is I take a couple. Right now, I can only handle like 200 milligrams of caffeine. I take 200 milligrams of caffeine right now before a workout, and I take a little citrulline malate, about 6 grams, and that gets me through the workout. Right. Back in the day, I would pound stimulants, pound them. I could show you pictures of myself, and I've shown people pictures of myself. And even I got to tell you, back in 2015, about 6 years ago, I went back to my old ways, right? And I started pounding them again. I was taking fucking fucking bitter orange, right? I was taking synephrine. I was taking fucking caffeine. I was taking L-carnitine. I was taking fucking Garcinia Cambo. I was fucking taking Yohimbine. I went crazy again, and I got shredded. I did get shredded, but again, I felt like shit. So again, you could take these drugs to achieve a specific goal, but at the same time, cause yourself a lot of problems as well, right? So, in my opinion, I think he'll be depleted. I don't think he'll be the best version of himself. And I think Conceicao is no slouch, right? He's an Olympic gold medalist, right? got some solid wins as an amateur, right? Not the biggest puncher in the world, but this guy, very capable fighter. Very capable fighter. He's a big guy, right? Been a lot. He's been at a, he finished his amateur career at a lightweight, and he's been a career junior lightweight, right? All 16 of his fights, he's junior lightweight. Valdez started as a featherweight. No, excuse me, yeah, featherweight. Moved up to 130, right? Moved up to 130, right? So he's the smaller man here, going up against the bigger guy, right? Big, durable guy. Versatile guy who can fight you on the outside as well as hang with you on the inside, right? Definitely I'm the harder hitter here, but again, how effective will a depleted Valdez be against a guy like Conceicao? So I think these intangibles play a big factor in this fight. And because Conceicao is just so good defensively, right? Because he has that Ugas type guard, right? It's hard to hit him clean. And even when you do hit him clean, he's a pretty durable guy, right? Because he's so crafty with his timing, right? Because he's got such a great jab, because he's so good at placing his punches, because he's so versatile offensively, he's just solid all around. I'm not sitting there trying to tell you this guy's Sugar Ray Leonard or Sugar Ray Robinson, but he's a solid all-around fighter, right? He's a solid all-around fighter, and he's a big junior lightweight, almost 5'11", 70-inch reach. At a plus 800, and some sites are even, some sports books have him as high as a plus 1,000. Ryan Hong got him at a plus 1,000. Valdez is a minus 1,400. Got to be honest with you. I think Conceicao definitely can pull the upset here. I got to tell you the truth. I think he can definitely pull the upset here. I think he's live, and I'm recommending putting a little something on Conceicao at a plus 800 or a plus, in between a plus 800 and a plus 1,000. I think he's live. I'm recommending that play. I think Conceicao can pull off the upset here. He can win a decision. Even though Valdez, like I said, is the A side here. Ryan Hong made some great points. Like I said, this video was inspired by him. Made me take a second look at this fight. Made me do a little bit more research. Made me look at some stuff that I normally probably wouldn't have went back and looked at. Right? But again, you can say Valdez is the A side here, but there's a lot of people not happy with him right now. So because of all the negative press around him and the negative energy around him, right? He may not get those A side privileges that he normally would have gotten. Tim Bradley said, "This guy was my hero." Right? Now he's saying, "I want this guy to get knocked out." I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. They're frustrated that this guy is getting a pass, right? The judges may look at it and say, "You know what? If this is a close round, why am I gonna reward this cheater?" Right? Why am I gonna give this guy the benefit of the doubt after he took a banned substance and tried to get an unfair advantage over his opponent, meaning he had to make weight the hard way while this guy took a shortcut, right? So I think if you were to ask everybody who do you think is going to win, I think a lot of people would pick Valdez. But then if you ask people who do you want to win, I think they would say Conceicao, right? So like I said, this could be a very sluggish performance from Valdez, and we've seen him have sluggish performances before. We've seen him in fights get hit a lot before, right? We've seen it happen. As good offensively as he is not the best defensive fighter in the world. And this Conceicao is pretty solid defensively, and he's very capable offensively. right? This could be a fight where Conceicao just outworks him, and gets the decision and gets the benefit of the doubt. Because why are the judges going to give Valdez any benefit of the doubt here? Most people, if not all, feel as though he cheated to make weight, which theoretically he did. Right? So why, what incentive is there to do this guy any favors, right? Still got Top Rank, still has Shakur at 130, right? They got Herring, right? The hell with Valdez at this point, they could be saying, right? Do we still want to invest in this guy? Who knows? Who knows? Like I said, like that, he may not get the A-side privileges. So, like I said, I'm going to recommend Conceicao with the upset here, man. I'm going to recommend Conceicao here with the upset, ranging from anywhere from a plus 800 to a plus 1,000. Think he's live. All right. So let me know what you guys think. Let's do a quick poll. Who are you picking? Poll here. See what everyone says here. Yeah. So this is going to be a very interesting fight. Very interesting fight. Let's see if everyone can vote here. Yeah. Yeah, so I think Conceicao is definitely a live dog here, man. I think definitely a live dog. And there is a chance that he may even miss, Valdez may even miss weight here. So, all right, guys, Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. Make sure you check me out tonight on the Roundtable on D-Style Boxing's channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, man, and stay safe. And yeah, just be careful out there, man, because some things are too good to be true, right? You may sell your soul to the devil thinking you're getting something good, but at the end of the day, long term, you could be losing. And this could be the same situation for Valdez come, what is it, Saturday night or Friday? I think it's Saturday night, right? When is this fight, Saturday or Friday? Let me double check here. Yeah, it's Saturday night. This fight will... No, actually, I'm sorry. This fight is tomorrow. It's Friday. I apologize. So it's Friday. This fight is Friday night. My fault. Yeah. Friday night, man. So we'll see. It's today. So today's the weigh-in, right? Today's the weigh-in, right? Wow. All right, so we got 57 to 43, 7 votes. See if we can get some more votes here. See if we can get some more votes here. I'm gonna weigh in. When's the weigh-in today? Weigh-in's going to be at 4 p.m. It's in 5 hours. So this is going to be one of the most highly anticipated weigh-ins that we're going to see in a long time. All right, so we got 62 to 38%. I don't think we're going to get any more here. All right, Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day. Make sure you check me out tonight. And make sure you click the link in the description box. Go to manscaped.com and get some Manscaped products and use the code Ringside Reporter. Great stuff. Great products. I got some. I'm using them already, and I'm really happy with them. All right, Beeb is out. Peace out. Take care.